understood how dark Accra was, I realized that those who don't get their contract through are the ones who complain of corruption. But those who get theirs through, they go to church in white and thank God.
Here I am to tell you a bit of what I have encountered in the fight against corruption. It seems to me that as it stands, there are only a few good men among us. Hopefully, the pieces I shared today will spur us on collectively to comprehensively suppress and repress corruption and state capture. The special prosecutor is a very thankless job. It fetches you droves of enemies daily, and it brings you into frontal contact with the lowest forms of debasement in humans. You do not go asking for it. It finds you. That is the nature of the job. Everyone wants the special prosecutor to do his job, yet no one wants the special prosecutor to do his job. It all depends on the subject of the investigation. This paradoxical predicament is perhaps an index of the human condition, which is that though we accept that we need to rein in corruption, yet no one wants to yield freely to scrutiny. No one happily accedes to indictment. No one welcomes investigations. No one wants to be called out as suspected of engaging in corruption and corruption-related activities. And so, there is always a strong pushback intended at deflecting the focus of scrutiny and accountability.
And that was, Special Prosecutor Kissie Jabing speaking at the One Ghana Movement Annual Constitution Day Lectures at the Alisa Hotel with Professor H. Kwesi Prempeh as a reviewer of the lecture. You had the IGP, Dr. Akufo Dampare, also in attendance. I spoke about the IGP the other day here last week, and some people came at me. You don't know me the way I do my things. Your enemy is not my enemy. Me, I just doing my work. If I see that somebody is doing good, I'll talk about it. The fact that you don't like them is a different game altogether. And you can dislike somebody, but look at their work and let their work speak for them as well. He spoke on the topic, a few good men suppressing and repressing corruption and state capture in aid of development. So for those of you who have had the opportunity of reading some of the things he has had to say, once again, maybe I'll begin with Kofi Bento. Unfortunately, we don't have too much time, but let me hear what you have to say.
So, all true, but nothing strange. You have a country like we have, and then Lawyer Jabing is given the job that he has been given, and he's right. We all want to change. We all want to change, but nobody wants to change. Okay, off camera, we're talking about some of the things that go on, and everybody's doing it. And when you don't do it, you feel like a fool. Okay, but I think that Lawyer Jabing is the right kind of person to do that. He's a steely individual. I mean, he's a hard person. So I feel for him, but I also know he's not surprised. I think he's sending us a certain reflection of our society, so we have a greater understanding of what he has to deal with. But it comes with the territory. If you're going to be special prosecutor with all these powers, and that's why we all advocated for the kinds of, independence and kind of, the nature of the office that he's been given. In fact, I think I am really pushing hard that all prosecution should go to that office instead of the Attorney General, which is political, and you're going to get knowledge prosecutions. If all the prosecutions over which we've seen knowledge prosecutions were at the special prosecutor's place, a change of government may not affect much. So that office is useful. We may even need to expand it, but the lamentations of Mr. Jabing are real. And for people like him and his family, we need to spare a thought because they really more or less sacrifice themselves. So we should take care of them, and I think we take care of them. All that said, it is for our general good. Now, if we have some of the laws that we are talking about now, which stop people from doing certain things, he will have an easier life. So I hope we work together. We don't just create problems and leave him to go and solve it and let people come after him.
He said, I am a reluctant occupier of the position of the special prosecutor, in the sense that I neither asked for nor lobbied for it. I am not inclined to recount how I got to sit in this seat, except to say that the position was laid on my head. Sacrificially, I eventually accepted the position after several weeks of prompting. Then he tells us about some of the sacrifices which he says are purely private. He was a public person. He was someone who likes to do his things openly. Now he can't live that life anymore. Some of them, he says, they are impersonal. Then he says that the job is thankless. It fetches you droves of enemies daily. It brings you into frontal contact with the lowest forms of debasement in humans. You do not go asking for it. It finds you. That is the nature of the job. Everyone wants a special prosecutor to do his job, yet no one wants a special prosecutor to do his job. It all depends on the subject of the investigations.
All true. Okay? There's a tree proverb that young candy which here when the mob is not after you, you think it's all fun. But when the power of the state is arrayed against you, even if you are innocent, there's a high price to pay. But you see, he said they laid it on him. Those of us who know him believe that there's a reason why he was picked for the job. And he is not somebody who also accepts a challenge lightly. I have sat before him before when people wanted him to resign. I remember I was in an earlier meeting and I said, we need to do everything to help this gentleman not to resign. And I was happy when he said, I will not resign. So I think he appreciates his job particularly well. What we need to do is appreciate it together with him. Okay, and I repeat.
But the risk that he comes under, he and his officers, he says that my security risk is ultra high. And I have to perpetually be on the lookout for attacks on my person. Same applies to especially the operational officers of the OSP.
But of course we know, those of us who we clearly know that if he is going to do his job, he's going to affect people to the tune of millions of dollars. And these people are not playing. They are criminals in an organized arrangement and they have all kinds of resources. So we know, but that's the point I'm making.
Why must he sacrifice his life for that?
Well, you see, that's the whole, why do soldiers go to war? To fight for a country.
In this case, it is the politicians setting up a machine to fight corruption and yet not wanting to fight the corruption. Yes. Why should he, sacrifice for it?
Which is why I'm saying we live in a country like this. Somebody has to run it. We all have sacrifices we've made here and there. But the question again I'm asking is, why does a young man go and join the army and go to fight a war to kill somebody he doesn't know on behalf of other people that he doesn't know and lose his life in the process? In the work of nation building, all kinds of sacrifices have to be made. Now, we have to do our best to support him. I want his office expanded. His security must be better taken care of and all those other things. But I'm saying I am happy that he is there. One of the ways we can support him is to pass some of these laws that stop the 99% of the people he has to deal with who are threatening him are politically exposed persons.
Correct.
99% of the issues come with the kinds of things that they want to achieve through political office, okay, which if we pass the necessary laws can stop them. So it's nation building, doesn't happen. Look, we are 68 this week, okay. 68 is a retired person plus 8 years. But in the scheme of nations, the US is 250 years old. They are dealing with Donald Trump today, all right? We are a toddler in the scheme of nations. Check how old Britain is. Check France. So we need to get things in perspective that we cannot expect perfection of ourselves, but these are the things that we do to move one step towards it. And what we do is to build these institutions to be stronger over time.
Doc, at 68, the special prosecutor says, we have had about 50 corruption-related commissions of inquiry and 5 successful military coups in the name of fighting corruption. This is what we have done. Yeah. And yet, we don't seem to want to fight the corruption. Since we set up the special prosecutor in December of 2017 and then tooled it up to do what it has to do. Unfortunately, he says that we are doing things as in the political class and the people that they have to investigate. They have what he calls the wherewithal, they have the wealth, and so they engage in misinformation, disinformation, and to get the people's turn against those who are fighting it.
Right. I look at what he has said to be like leaders or leadership of the country set up anti-corruption agencies as a screen smoke. That is how I see it. From his lamentation. Smoke screen. So that behind it they are doing what they want, and you occupy an office, and at the end you either agree to them or they deal with you, because he's talking about threat of his life, threat of the life of his workers. And we know that Ghana, from statistics, from publications, is losing almost $3 billion a year on corruption.
Professor Stephen Adair says that number may have doubled.
Right, I'm using what has been...
This is an old number.
Yes, so let's just look at it. And we have an office that has gotten just 100 and something million to fix it and then the rest, knowing very well that it's a new office that has been set. I think it is evolving, it is growing. Now that he has come to give out complaints about how he's suffering with his staff and his family, and his life is also in danger, we would have to take a second look about how to protect anybody who is occupying that office and who will subsequently protect that office. This is simply because the people who are into corruption, like Bentil said, are those who are seriously involved in politics, or they have serious links with politics. They are the ones who are supposed to even help you prosecute the corrupt people. And if they themselves are involved in the corruption, definitely they would like to pull strings. And they have the power, they have the wealth, they have the connections with the security, they have the connections with the media, they have the connection with some grassroots social media people who can destroy your image very, very fast. So I think that his lamentations are good. Let's take it on board and ensure that anybody who is found culpable by him should be handed to him to prosecute, instead of giving it to the Attorney General, like you said, to prosecute. Then also give the holder of those offices the needed protection. After all, the Electoral Commissioner had military and a MOAC standing at her house. And if you're also defending her, so we have to provide the needed security. But
the
my advice...
Prosecutor also has some military, but they were taken away.
That is not fair to me. If his life is in danger and he has informed the security agencies that his life is in danger, this is a person that we must all protect.
So we are getting to appreciate that the times that he didn't live in the country,
yes,
it was for his life.
Right.
And some people said he was living outside and drawing money.
Yeah.
But he was out of the country because his life was under threat.
Yeah, let's all understand that this institution came in because Iyoko was failing, Siraj was failing, all other anti-corruption institutions were failing. And they brought this agency in to come and really head-on fight corruption, but he's finding difficulties with it. So we have to really look at the act that established it, or we have to look at the act that established it to see what we can do to enhance security, to give them that independence. And anybody taking that place should be aware that you are going to be confronted with these challenges.
Right.
And you take it as a national, as somebody who wants to fight against corruption. And leadership, look, corruption prevails because perhaps we are not fighting over, because leadership is not out wholeheartedly to ensure that corruption stops. Because we've had other countries that have been able to minimize corruption to the barest minimum.
Right.
Sanctions to people who are found corrupt are very detrimental and deterrent enough that you can't indulge in it. China, go and be corrupt and see what will happen to you. Go to Rwanda and get corrupt and see what will happen to you. Today, go to Burkina and get corrupted and see what will happen to you. It's because our laws are so flexible and so loose.
I was listening to Abraham Amaliba.
Yes.
He said he was in Rwanda, he was leaving the airport.
Yes.
And like it happens to all of us some of the times,
yes,
you are leaving and there's currency that's not much. You don't want to take it to your country.
Yeah.
Maybe you have kept some as memorabilia and it's enough. You don't want to accumulate. So he took the money, change that was in his hand, and he tried to give it to an officer at the airport.
Yeah.
The officer said he wouldn't dare do that. And he was warned that he should not do that.
There's a reason. Because
in Ghana, that's doing good to somebody.
Yes. See, they have been trained to live like that. And the culture is such that you can't take what does not belong to you. Go to Dubai. Go to Dubai. I've gone to Dubai before, left my phone in a taxi. And I tell you, they looked for my hotel and brought back the phone to me.
It's not trading.
it's the way laws work. Because
okay.
if you
because you're running out of time, let me get to Dr. Kabir.
Yeah, so
and it's not only he painted a picture, but he also gives solutions. And because the chair of the Constitution Review Committee was there, he said write the OSP into the Constitution so that it will not be at the
and let's write out all the moribund
before I just briefly 30 seconds. My senior colleague has just noted that as part of the framework for addressing the land grab issue, maybe we can include a provision of prior approval of Parliament, so that they will know that before a sale, Parliament will have to burn up that. So I think it's a very solid suggestion.
Yeah.
On the OSP, I understand the OSP frustrations. The OSP was set up by the former president to fight corruption, which we all admit is a national canker. But unfortunately for the OSP, we are practicing a very democratic regime where the rights of individuals would have, even no matter how criminal-minded they are, would have to be litigated. So when he comes off as someone facing that kind of opposition, I understand why he should be concerned. But look, fair hearing, Article 19 of the Constitution grants that. Okay, and the OSP is using the law to fight corruption, but it's not the law. That is sometimes the difference, and I have the feeling that the OSP, being a lawyer of repute, doesn't come to appreciate that, look, in fighting corruption, the law, the very law you are using to fight the corruption will come back limiting how you can operate. And if he doesn't appreciate that, he will easily give up. But I think that he has to appreciate that and then work within the law. If someone is litigating his right, he must give the person the fullest of opportunity to insect his right.
Okay.
So if the OSP is not doing that, then he will be frustrated. Okay. But the thing about OSP, I think we should support him. A threat to his life.
He says he wants all of us to support.
Yeah, a threat to his life is a threat to the country's sustainability and development, because corruption is a threat to our own collective development.
And I have to especially apologize to you, Dr. Kabiru, because you've had just under 1 minute to make your point on this. We ran out of time. Thank you also very much. My outfit is by Konati Clothing. You can call them 0244 676732, 0244 676732, and they are doing a special promotion during the month of Ramadan, 15%, between 10 to 15% discount on all what you ask of them, and they are wishing you Ramadan Kareem. So 0244 676732, that is Konati Clothing, and they will make sure you are looking great. Show also brought to you by Bank of Africa, as strong as a group and close as a partner, MTN everywhere you go. Ashesi University, educating ethical and entrepreneurial leaders for Africa. Robert and Sons Optical Services, your comprehensive eye care service provider for 33 plus years. My Way Insurance, dial *165# on MTN to join My Way today. DBS Industries, roofing, Papa Fie, Flamingo Paints, simply superior. Syntex Tanks is strong, it's tough. Activa International, our clients, our passion. I have seen all your many messages, but unfortunately we are unable to read them. And thank you all for continuing to make this show the biggest and the most authoritative news analysis platform here in the country. Have a good afternoon. I'm Samson Ladia Yanini, and my guests have been Dr. Kabiru Tia Mahama, also Kofi Bentel of Imani, and Dr. Thomas Anaba, MP for Garu. Have a good afternoon.